Welcome and hello everybody in the MIS 309 Database Systems course. We are working with assignment number 4 today, and so what I'd like you to do is follow along with me. I'm going to demonstrate how to write these queries, and we're going to complete it, and then you're going to upload your completed assignment 4 into Mole, which will mark your attendance for this week. So this week assignment number 4 is due. And you're going to complete it, and then you're going to upload it into Mole, and you're going to get attendance points for uploading it by the due date, which I believe is April 4th, but we'll take a look at that shortly. Okay, actually, let's take a look at it now, because shortly never happens, especially when I forget to do it. So let's go into the syllabus here and take a look here. Let's see what we got going on here. We have, here we go. So we are working with assignment number 4. It's due on Monday 4/6, which is a Monday from today. So today, today's lecture is today's actually Sunday the 29th, but this lecture is for Monday, our Monday class meeting, Introduction to Internet Databases and Concepts. Well, we're actually still working with the SQL language. Part of this stuff, SQL basics and query processing, which is good. Well, next week we'll look at the internet databases. We actually are using an internet database, however, in the assignment. But we're working on the Monday 3:30 class meeting, and what we've got going on is assignment number 4. Assignment number 4 is not due till the following Monday, so you have an entire week to do it. You have from today all the way till 4/6 before it's actually considered, 4/7 or 4/8 would be considered late. So that's what we're working on. It's due a week from today, if today was Monday. So it's a week from tomorrow, Monday. So, all right, what do we got? So we have 2 parts to this. We have, and 3 tables. We have stored information table. We have the store information table. This is the same table up here, actually. Store information table. And then we have down here at the bottom, we have an internet sales table. And we have 11 queries to write. One of them is going to use 2 tables. Well, the second page uses the 2 tables. The first one only uses a single table. I'm going to go into XAMPP and actually create the tables for you. So I loaded up XAMPP, and I've got both my MySQL database and my Apache web server running, which I need. And I'm going to go to Applications. And I am going to click on PHP My Admin at the top of the screen there. And I'm going to make a new database object. So over here on the left-hand side, I'm going to click on New. And I'm going to call this database object Assignment 4. Assignment 4. Okay, and I'm going to click on Create. So now I have a new database object in the left-hand side of the screen that says Assignment number 4 on it. So I'm going to click on Assignment number 4. And I'm going to create these 2 tables here and populate with the data. So the first one's called store information, store_information. Now remember, you can't put any spaces in this name. So when you create it, make sure you create it like that. So I'm going to just copy the name actually so I can remember it. And I'm going to paste it right here. So it says store information, and store information has 1, 2, 3 columns in it. So I'm going to change this one to 3. Oops, wrong direction. There we go. And I'm going to press this go right here. So I create a table called store information with the number of columns 3. Now let's put the columns in. Let's do it this way. So I've got store name. And we could actually just, I'm going to do it this way so I make sure I spell it correctly. Store name. And I'm going to make this a variable character, and I'm going to make it 30. And then I'm going to use the date, sales, S-A-L-E-S. That's the second column, sales right here. And I'm also going to make that variable character 30, just to make our life easier. And then the last one is date. Now I've capitalized them in here, and they're capitalized here. Make sure you create them exactly how it shows in here, otherwise your queries aren't going to work correctly. And so that looks pretty good. So I'm going to look for the save button right here at the bottom, hit the save button. So now I have store name, sales, and date. Now I'm going to hit the insert, and I've got some store information to put in. So I'm going to put in, populate it with these, and I have 4 instances I'm going to need to put into this table. So Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is I don't know what this is. Leave this column alone, the function. You want to put the value in the values column. We're putting the values for the columns here. You don't put the $ in. 1500. Actually, let's change this. Let's change this variable character. So I'm going to actually exit out of here. Actually, I'm not going to put these in yet. I want to go back to the structure. So I've hit the back to structure, save unsaved data, and close to leave the page. You have unsaved data. Are you sure you want? Yes, I do. I don't want to save that data. So I'm going to click on sales. I'm going to make sales a number. So I'm going to click on the change here where it says sales. And instead of it being a variable character, I'm going to make this one into, let's make it an int. Because I think that they are all, there's no decimal points on it. So I'm not going to make it a double, I'm going to make it an int. I'm going to keep it at 30, and I'm going to press save. So now you see I've changed the data type to int because we want to use these as numbers so we can add them up, and that's going to be better for us. So I put them all in variable character, but this is another, kind of a lesson here to look at. If you want, and we're going to need to add up sales with these queries, and I know that ahead of time, therefore I want to make it an int. So if you missed that, I clicked on the change, or you can actually just rewind the video here. Or go back, and I clicked on the type, and I changed the data type to int, and I clicked on save. So, okay, so let's go back to the insert. Now I can stick the data in, and because I have to start back at the beginning because I didn't save that data. And don't save the data, otherwise you're going to have an issue. So Los Angeles, and now I'm going to type in 1500. Do not type in the $. That's not going to work for you. And I'm going to type this in just the way it's shown on the screen here, 05-2006. And I'm going to press go, or I could put another one in and press go. Either one of them works. Yeah, we'll put another one in. San Diego. San Diego has 250. Again, don't put any $signs because these are numbers. January 07-2006. Now if I press go, I have both of them put in, but I need to put one more in there. So, or actually I need to put 2 more in there. So this works out just well. This quite well. So Los Angeles again. Make sure you spell it correctly. 300. And this one's going to be January 08-2006. And then the next one is going to be Boston. Boston. And this is 700. Oops, 700. And this is January 8th, 2006. And then press the go to put those in there. And if I go through the browse, I see a table here that should look like the table there. So I have Los Angeles, San Diego, Los Angeles, Boston. No $signs because these are numbers, they're not strings, it's not variable character. I have 05, 07, 08, 08. Now don't worry about this order. This order might be different than this order. The order does not need to match because this actually is not stored in any particular order. The order doesn't matter. So it depends on the rows, and we don't use the order for the query. So we have this table created. So let's go ahead and create the other table we're going to need for the exercise, and then we're going to do the we're going to run through the queries. So this is the same table. This is the store information table. It's just repeated at the top. Now we have internet sales. So internet sales has 2 columns. So let's create that table. So if I come back and click on assignment number 4 again, which is my database object, and then if I look here, it says create table. And this is like halfway through the middle of that screen there. And this one's called Internet Sales. So I'm going to copy and paste that and stick it here. Get rid of the space that's at the end, so it just says Internet Sales. And it only has 2 columns. So I'm going to change this guy to 2. And press go. Now in this table, I have date and sales. So this is going to be date and sales with a capital D and a capital S. Now the date, I'm going to make a variable character, 30. And I'm going to leave the sales at int for the same reason why we created the sales with an int in the other one. But I'm going to make the length of it 30, which is pretty big for an int, but we'll keep it at that. And I'm going to press save. When I do that, I can get a date and a sales now. And I have this table created, so we have to do the same thing. Let's populate it. So inserts. Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them to insert in. First one's going to be January 7th, 2006. So for the date, it's January-07-2006. They're calling it a date, but it really is a string, variable character. It's not really a date format. For our intents and purposes. Oops. $250 was that internet sale. Remember, no dollar signs. And so the next one I'm going to put in, I have to do this twice because I have 4 of them. January 10th, and this one's going to be 2006, and this one's going to be 535. 535. And then I need to press go. To put them in, and then I'm going to insert again 2 more, and I'm going to stick in January-11-2006, and this is going to be 320, along with January-12-2006, which is going to be 750. And then I'm going to press go. And look at that, browse through the structure here. And if I browse through the structure, I see January 7th, 250, January 10th, 535, January 11th, 320, and January 12th, 750. So the data matches. So the queries will work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click back on Store Information. And I'm going to click on this little window that says SQL on the top of it. And we're going to write the queries. And you're going to cut and paste the queries from the window and stick them in here. And I'll show you how to do it with the first one. Actually, I can just do it for all of them. This is what you're doing at home. So you are creating, and hopefully you have created the 2 tables. Now it's time to write the queries. So given the following table with store information, find all the data in this table. So how would we find all of the data in this table? Well, actually, believe it or not, the default query does it for us right here. Select star from store information where 1. Well, we don't actually need the where 1. And we don't really need the brackets around store information either. But this is select star from store information. If I run this query, it gives me all of the data that's in the table. And the query that I just ran was select star from store information. So I'm going to take and copy this here. And now that it works, and then paste it right here. And I can paste it, paste it in with a number next to it, but we don't need that. Oops. I don't know what that is. Oh. Well, let's see if I can get this to, there we go. There, it doesn't have to look that good. I just want to make it look good for you. So let's see, ignore all. There we go. Or you could type it. It doesn't need to be underlined either. The underline looks like there's a little hyperlink here. If you want a cleaner query, we could go back here and we could get the auto-saved query, which is the one that was in there. Oh, no previous auto-saved query is available. Okay. Well, we don't have auto-save query on here. Show this query here again. No. Okay. Well, if we did it from here, it doesn't really matter where you cut and paste it from, but if we did it from here, I believe we were going to end up with a better formatted query, but it doesn't really matter. Ah, there we go. Yep, that looks much better. All right, so now I'm getting really picky here. Hold on a second. Sometimes I hate computers. Today would be the day. All right, so this is the query. Select star from store information. So if we want to find all the data in the table, we do a select star, returns, gives us all of the data in the table. Okay, so let's move on to the second one. Find all the store names in the table. Well, instead of finding everything in the table, and if I copy, well, actually don't really need to, I have it in here. What if I want to find just the store names? So to find all the store names in the table, well, instead of doing the asterisk for all, I would stick in the store name. So if I change this query to select store name from store information, and before I run it, I'm going to copy this right now, because I'm going to stick it right here because I know this query is correct. Then this is going to give me just the store names. So select store name from store information. And if I run this query, I'm going to get only the store names. So I have Los Angeles, San Diego, Los Angeles, and Boston. I have them twice because, well, Los Angeles is in there twice. So that is how I get the store name. So now that I have the store name, I can move on to the next one. Find the stores where the sales are above 1,000. Now, it didn't say find the store names or find all of the data. It just wanted the stores. I could still use the store name. And if I did that, I could use the query that I just wrote a few minutes ago, which, if I paste it back in the window here, is select store name from stores. But this tells us we need something else. We need with sales above 1,000. If I change the wording around a little bit, I could say where sales are above 1,000. That might give us a hint on how to create that query. Well, we're looking at the sales, and this is why I wanted to make it a number. We need to make sure that we have sales above 1,000. So I'm going to type in where sales, and I need to put a capital in there because it's the name of the column, are above 1,000. So now I have a where clause in here. And the query that we're using here is this one. I want it all in one line, so I'll just do it this way. This is where the store name, so select store name from store information where the sales are larger than 1,000. Now you could put a semicolon at the end of it. I haven't been, it doesn't really require it, but some of them do. So we don't have it. Oh, we do. We have Los Angeles. Los Angeles comes up in the query because Los Angeles has 1,500. Now we selected the store name. We could also modify this query if we wanted to. And instead of just selecting the store name, we could just select everything by using the asterisk. So another form of this query, because it didn't really tell us specifically just the store names, we could use select star from store information where the sales are larger than 1,000. It's just going to give us, and I'll put this down here too, gives us a couple of choices. So the other, because it wasn't specific, it said find the stores. You know, it didn't say the store name. Oops. This was an asterisk from store information where the sales are larger than 1,000. Well, it's going to give us the same thing, except for this time. Not exactly sure what happened there. I think I pasted it instead of copying it. Let's see. Now it's going to give us all the information. So now it's going to give us the Los Angeles 1,500. And then you see there's this little interesting little box. Some versions of XAMPP or PHP My Admin will put the little box around it saying that this is the where condition. And the where condition was where sales were larger than 1,000. And this one has the box to tell us that it was larger than 1,000. So find all the stores where the sales are greater than 1,000. Well, we kind of got that now. And all stores where the sales are less than 500 but greater than 275. Okay, so what that means then, and it looks like I'm scrolling, which is okay. We need to add a few more things to the, and I'm just going to do this one here and copy this one. Let's see if I can get this one in the window now. We're going to use the query we had a few minutes ago. We're just going to add some more where conditions to it. So I'm going to go down here and put the wheres here. So where sales are larger than 1,000, so sales are greater than 1,000, or all stores where the sales are less than 500, well then let's just type in or where sales are less than 500. And so, what do I got here? The type of clause near where, unrecognized statement near where. Probably because I spelled where wrong. No, I didn't. Let's just do this then. Or sales smaller than 500. We don't have to put the where in, I guess. Sometimes it'll take it, sometimes it won't. This time it doesn't take it. Or all stores with sales less than 500 but greater than 275. Or greater than or sales greater than 275. Now, if we want to keep these two conditions together, we put a bracket around it. So we have where sales are larger than 1,000, or these two conditions go together. Sales are smaller than 500, or sales are larger than 275. So we have the or part together, because that's how I think this is supposed to read. So the sales are either larger than 1,000 or all stores where the sales are less than 500 but greater than 275. So sales are smaller than 500 or sales are greater than 275. So this is the completed query. Let's see if I can get it copied over here correctly. And then let's run it and see how it works. You can all put it on one line if you want to. I put it on 2 lines, but you could easily do this with it. But it's going to scroll, so we'll just do that with it. It doesn't have to be moved over, and we'll just leave it alone. So if we run it, then we're going to get, well, that would be from the data. We've got these are the ones that we're going to go 4 of the, well, actually all 4 of them are. So it's greater than 275. Yep. And we have Los Angeles was at 250. So that would be, yeah, that would work. Okay. So there's our query. Or, it's going to bring back everything because it's or. So now we're going to find all the records for the Los Angeles and the San Diego stores using in. Well, we're going to make an in with this. And so when we use the in, let's go back to the query here. What are we going to select? All records for the Los Angeles and the San Diego stores. So select star from store information, where store name. And if you type in the capital S on the store, you'll see it shows up in a little pop-up box here. You could also, and I haven't shown you this yet, but you could also double click on it here That's just where we get these kind of, and I don't like the way that formats it, so I always pull those out anyway. Or store name in, and then we can just put the store names in here as a set. And if we do that, we could go Los Angeles. And let's just separate them by commas. And they're strings, so we put the quotation marks around them in San Diego. And we close the bracket there. And then all the errors should go away at that point too. So the in, and we have a set. We have a Los Angeles, which the comma should come next to it. And I'm actually not sure that there is a comma in there. I'm going to need to check that real quick if this doesn't work. But I'm going to copy it real quick and paste it here. Let's run it, see if we get an error message. If we do get an error, oh, we didn't get an error message. Okay, we're good. So we're good. So now we have Los Angeles, and San Diego. And we have an in. So the in gives us, let me make sure I put this in red. And I'm going to put this on a new line. So select star from store information where store name is in. And so the in is telling us, is it in this set? And we do put a comma in between each element in the set. So we have a Los Angeles, comma, San Diego. And so it gives us a set. We can also put a query in here. I could put, this is overkill, but let's just do it here, which, you know, just to demonstrate a query for you. I could do this, edit, paste, and in here, instead of putting the two items I'm looking for, I can say select store name from store information where store name is equal to Los Angeles, or store name is equal to San Diego. Now, that's the long way of doing it. It's the long way of doing it because we could just put San Diego. I'm going to stick it here anyway because I created it. So now we have a where clause, and here we'll do it this way. So this is your other choice. You could put a query in here. So we have select star, or I guess we could have just done, no, this is the same. Select star from store information. It's the same. Where store name is in, and then we created a query for this. And the query we did was select store name from store information where store name is equal to Los Angeles or store name is equal to San Diego. Well, that's just going to give us a set that comes out that says, that's basically going to be Los Angeles or San Diego. So it's really doing the same thing, but I'm just demonstrating that you could put a query in here if you didn't want to hard set the data. So what if you didn't have those items in there, then it wouldn't select it. So, but we do have a Los Angeles and we do have San Diego in there. So that was the first page of queries, by the way. I think we have number 6 though. I think that's, yeah, number 6 is still part of the first page. I believe I created, we don't need to leave the pages the same way, but I believe I created some extra spaces when I put that in there. So let's do number 6. Find all stores whose name contains AN. Now I want to pull something up for you. So I'm going to pause the video momentarily here and show you the wildcard. And to refresh your memory, I want to show you the wildcard information. So hold on. So in the behacker.com website, oops, there it is. In the lectures folder, of the 309 class. There is the 3A and the 3B. I believe it is in 3A, but let's just take a look real quick. Yes, it's here. And this is the lecture that was optional for you to watch. We went over this in class. But in here, and actually if you're wondering where are these SQL commands that we're writing in this assignment coming from, they're coming from this lecture. So it's 309/lecture 3A, if you want this to take a look here. Around, I was going to find this for you, that's why I paused the video, but then I figured, well, I'll just show it to you anyway. Let's see. I believe it's gonna be before we get to the double queries. Let's go back up here for a second. It's using the word like, and here. There we go. There's an asterisk. Here we go. No. Here we go. Okay, so the patterns uses the word likes or not like. And we have a % for the string, which means any string, or the underscore for any character. So in the lecture example, it was showing you, see if I can get to the example here. For example, from drinkers, find the drinkers with the exchange 555. And it was using here anything before 555 dash and then 1, 2, 3, 4 characters. So we're going to use that as an example. And we're going to go over to our question. And our question says find all the stores whose name contains AN, capital A and capital N. Well, none of them actually contain that. So, well, let's see what happens. We'll write the query. I believe that it is case sensitive. So we'll have to do capital A and lowercase n. Or here's an AN here. So let's write the query first though. So we want the store. So select all stores whose name contains AN. So let's go back to the query. Did we ever run this one? Oh, okay, we ran it. Go back to the query. Okay, so let's select the store name. Where, well, we don't want to where, like is what we want to use. Like, and then the like, well, where, we do need the where, excuse me. Select the store name where the store name is like, and what is it going to be like? Well, it's going to be like, and you can use a single or a double quote for this. I like to use the double quotes. Let's just go anything before AN and then anything after it. So I've got here anything because we want to get the character AN in there. Now I used the capital AN because that's what the question wanted us to do. So let's just copy it here. This is really the answer to the question, but I don't think this is going to bring up anything, but we're going to find out momentarily. So here, select the store name, where the store name like, so it's going to be, it's not equal to, but it's like, and then it's going to be anything. This is the % sign says any number of strings, and then AN, and then followed by anything after it. So here we have anything before and then anything after, anything before, anything after. So it should bring up San Diego and Los Angeles, but this has got a capital A and a capital N with it. So if we run it, we see we have an error message, and it says the store name where, okay, so unknown column store name in field stored list. Unknown column store name in field list. Let's go back here for a second. Probably have a typo. Let's see. Store name, where store name, no typo. Okay, now I'm going to pause the video, troubleshoot this for a second and see what, well, in store list. Well, let me troubleshoot this a little bit. I'll be back with you momentarily. Okay, I'm back. Haven't changed anything, but I had a fundamental issue. And the fundamental issue, and I guess this is good because I'm being sloppy about this, and I'm using it hopefully as a teaching moment here. I didn't select the table. So my error message said unknown column store name in the field list because I didn't say from any table. So I left off my from clause, which is rookie mistake number 1. So select store name, and then I have a where, but I don't have a from clause. So I need to put in from. Where am I going to get it from? From. And it's going to come from store information. So now I have select store name from store information, where the store name is like, and then here we go. So I'm going to copy this one now and replace it because this one's incorrect because I didn't put the table name in there. So the select from is pretty much required for 99.9% of all queries you're going to write. So select store name or asterisk, you could put that in there, from store information, where the store name is like this. So let's try this one out. And this one works. And so we have a Los Angeles, San Diego, and Los Angeles, because all 3 of them have AN. And I guess it proved my point. There's no case sensitivity going on there. So it doesn't matter if it's capital A and a lowercase n, or whether they're both capitalized, or whether or not we have a lowercase an. But we found Los Angeles and San Diego and Los Angeles. All 3 of them have AN in the name. Therefore, they showed up in the query. All right, so that was rookie mistake number 1, leaving out the from store information. So see that? Even I make mistakes. Well, probably because I'm being sloppy about this. But being sloppy is good because it reinforces some points and creates some really good teaching moments. All right, so let's move on. So now we have this given from store information. Well, that's the same table we had already. All right, find all of the unique store names in this table. All of the unique store names, this is the store name. So how do we get unique store names? You guys probably already know this one. And if you go back to this lecture here, you're going to find the keyword distinct in here. And distinct is going to give us all the unique store names because we're going to select the distinct store names. I'm not going to look for it in here. You can look for it on your own. It is in this lecture, and it's the keyword distinct that this question is wanting us to do. So let's see. Select, what do we want? We want distinct. And if I just start typing in a few things, and it's a function, we want the distinct store names. And let's not forget our database from store information. So select distinct store name from store information. And if we have, and don't worry about it, I think this font's a little bit bigger than this font up here. Here, actually, I'll change it. It doesn't really matter. But, okay. So select all of the unique store names in this table. Select distinct store name from store information. And if we do that, we're going to get Los Angeles, San Diego, and lo and behold, Boston shows up finally in one of our queries because it's a distinct store name. So we only have one Los Angeles. So distinct only gives us one. So it gives us the unique, only one. Even though there's 2, it only gives us 1 because we said distinct, which means give us all of the unique store names that are in the store information table. All right, so here's where I thought we were going to need to make this an integer, and it's true. We want to calculate the sum of all the sales from this table. So we want to calculate the sum of all sales. So if you made it an integer value, then we're in good shape from the table. Well, that's a pretty easy query because we have built-in functions for us. And the function that we want to do is sum. So we want to sum, and what do we want to sum? Sales. So if we select the sum sales, we're going to get, lo and behold, calculating the sum of all sales from this table. So if you think this is pretty easy, it is. It's pretty easy. In your take-home final exam, yes, you're going to have a final exam, and it's going to be a take-home final exam. You're going to get an opportunity to do exactly what we're doing right now. You're going to write some queries, and you're going to want to go into XAMPP, and you're going to want to create the query, create the table so you could test the queries and make sure the queries work if you want to get an A on that test. So just letting you know, and I'll give you probably 2 or 3 weeks to work on this as well. So in the next, as we get towards the end of the semester, at the next couple of weeks or so down the road, I will be providing you more information on that take-home final exam that you're going to have. It's going to be a take-home final exam because, as you are aware, we're doing the distance learning model right now. Okay, back to the query. Select some sales. And if we do that, we get an error message because sales is in the field list. You know why? Because I didn't put the from in there. That's my bad. All right, so let's write this query again. And you guys are probably at home going, you forgot about the table. Select some sales. And we need to do from store information. All right. So for some reason today, I am forgetting to put in the tables. So select some sales from store information. That's the query we want. Remember to put in the table that we're getting it from. Oops. I'll try and remember for the next couple queries here, because you guys are probably screaming at me in the video, or while you're watching this, you're going, you forgot it. And it's like, yeah, but I can't hear you. So, oh no. Okay, so, store information. This should be store information. Store information is the name of the table. So, and it basically shows you what happens. So this is demonstrating some pretty good error checking. When you see this little box down here where it says an error, yeah, it says the table store name doesn't exist. Oh, so you put the wrong store name in there. So it's better to put the correct table in there, which is store information. And if I put store information in there, which is the name of the table, then this one's going to work. And so the sum is going to come out as a single column that says 2750. Now, sum sales is a pretty good name, but if you remember from that lecture, we can also modify this one a little bit. We can change it. We can change this so it just says sum on it. So this is not required, but I thought I would show this to you. So right now when it says we use sum sales and we get 2,750, if we want to change the name of that column, we can just do an as sum. So select sum sales, and then we can put in here as, and then put sum in here as sum. Actually, we don't need to put quotes on around that. Here, I'm going to make this a capital SUM as sum, the sum. The sum from store information. If we run that, whatever we called it, it's going to say the sum. So we have the sum showing up here. So that's just a little add-on. I'll do it one more time so you can sort of see what I'm talking about here. I'll change it again, and so just so I can cut and paste it. So we use the keyword as, and it doesn't have to be in caps, but I'm trying to be neat with the output here. And then whatever word you put here, my sum, I'll put my sum in there. This time I use my sum. Whatever word you put in there is going to be the name of the column. So I'm going to copy this one now and stick it in here too. You don't actually have to put all these extra ones in here, but you can if you want. It just gives you another example. So now it says my sum on it instead of the sum. All right, we're really plowing through this. Calculate the total sales for each store. Well, this for each store tells us we're going to have a group by. And that's also in that PowerPoint lecture, by the way, the group by. So we can group it by store. So it's really the same one. I'll take this query up here, but we're going to add a group by. So this is going to calculate, this one calculates the sum of all the sales from the table for all stores together. Here we're going to calculate the total sales for each store, which means we're going to add a group by to this query. And so if I do that, I'm going to put it underneath here. I'm going to say group by some sales. Let me just make sure this works before I get too committed with this answer. Nope. Because I want to put the store. It can't group by the sum. So yeah, that's a good thing I stopped for a second. So the query is on the right start. But I can't really group it by the sum because there's nothing to group it by. I need to group it by, like, say, the store name. So if I put on the select clause, get rid of that for a second here. Let's put the store name on there. So store name, comma, sum, and then let's group it by the store name. If we do that, then we get the store name. Store name, Boston, Los Angeles, San Diego. And then we have the group by 700. So now we have the sum, and we have the sum for each store, grouped by the store. Don't worry, I'm going to show you the query momentarily again. So we have Boston, which only had 700. We have Los Angeles, which is in there twice, so we had 15 and 300, which gives us 800. That's the sum. And then San Diego had 250. So we needed to put in the store name. So we had something to group it by. My original thought was to group it by the sum sales, but how are you going to group it by that? You only got one number. So we needed to add store name to the select clause and then group by store name. And then that's going to give us the sum for each one of the stores that are in the table. And I remembered my from, at least this time, from store information. So our query looks like that. And this is calculating the total sales for each one of the stores. And now we're grouping it by. And the key word here is the group by store name. If we group it by the store name, then when we run it, we get the store name and then the sum sales. Now we could still add that little thing in there if we wanted to. We could do this one too as sum. And we could put sum in there instead of sum sales. You would add it right here if you're going to do it. But let's not do that. We don't really need to. So we have another thing that says having. So find only the stores with sales over 1,500 using the keyword having. So having comes after the group by. So if we wanted to sum, well, we already have one here. We already have the query here. So I think I still have it here. So let's put it back. So we're going to select the store name, sum sales. Here, let's add the sale. I'm going to add it just so it looks better. As sales. There we go. From store name, from store information. group by store name. And now underneath it, I'm going to use having. Having, let's see, what is it having? It is having, find only the stores with sales over 1,500. Having some sales over 1,500. Well, I think that's only going to be one, which is going to be Los Angeles at 1,800. But let's just see this real quick. And before I want to copy it, let's make sure it works first. And it does. And yes, it does. We have the store of Los Angeles is the only one that has, and let me put this back so you can see it. It's the only store having some sales larger than 1,500. So that is this query. Doesn't all fit on one screen. Let's see. Oh, now it does. All right, so select store name, some sales. I put this in here, you don't have to. From store information, group by store name. Group by store name. And this is the part we added here. So it's the same query we did here where we calculated the total sales for each store. But here we want to find only the stores with the total sales over 1,500 using having. So the having gave us the having, and we can put the having some sales larger than 500. So anything on the having, it can be a store name or some sales. Same as group by. So the group by, whatever you put on the group by has to be in the select. Whatever you put on the having has to be on the select as well. So having store name or having some sales about something. All right. I believe we have, we only have one left. And I was just having fun. All right, so number 11. And if you have questions about any of these queries, you can also email me as well. Try them out, and I highly encourage you to play around with them and see if you can do different ones if you wanted to as well. But the 11 that we have here are only the 11 that you need to do for the assignment. So also given this table here, and here's that second table we created called Internet Sales. Find all the dates where there is a sales transaction. Well, also, so we want to use both. So we have dates and we have the sales. So let's compare that query actually with the query that we have. So we have Internet Sales. And Internet Sales has the date and the sales, and store information has the date and the sales. Well, this is from the stores and this is from the internet. And so what do we want to find? We want to find all the dates where there is a sales transaction. So we want the dates from here and we want the dates from here where we have a sales transaction. So we're going to use 2 on the from clause instead of just 1. And what do we want to find? We want to find the dates. So we're going to go into the SQL query here and we're going to select date. And from, well, what am I going to select it from? From Internet Sales, comma, store information. Both of the tables. Well, actually, do we need anything else? Find all dates where there is a sales transaction. Well, sales transaction date. Actually, that's all we have to do for this query. I probably could just put it all on one line. Let's copy it here. Let me run it, make sure it works first. And it doesn't. Column date in the field list is ambiguous. Aha. Yes, it is ambiguous because here's the question. What date do we want? Do we want the date that's in one table or do we want the date that is in the other table? So we can put them both up there, actually. The way that we would put them both up there, and now I do want to put this on another line. So we have this here. So if we made some abbreviations here, which we don't have to, we could do this. We can go internet sales dot date, comma, store information dot date. If we did that, we would be telling the query engine that we want the date from internet sales and we want the date from store information. This query will work. So I'm going to copy this one and run it. And now we have all of the dates, but we have duplicates because we have all of the dates from one plus all of the dates. He says dates, dates. We have all of the dates from one and all of the dates from the other. So technically speaking, I'm going to because it is kind of technically correct, I'm going to put it in here. But we have a better way of doing this. Because instead of getting both, well, okay, so let me show you a couple shortcuts here. So we really only want one date, right? Where there's a sale, right? So we can make this a little easier to look at actually if we make some aliases. So this is, if we call this one I, and we can call this one S, then we can just put I and S up here. So another variation of this is just to use the kind of initials. You don't have to do this, I'm just showing you. So from internet sales I, because we're going to call it I, and store information S, I dot date, which is this I, S dot A. If we did this, this is just another variation. You don't have to copy and paste this. We get the same query as before, but the query looks a little bit better. So I'm just going to stick this guy down here too. You don't have to do this. This one's perfect right here. You could just stop at this point if you wanted to. I'm just showing you more examples. So this one's a better looking one than that one because it's got these little abbreviations in here. The I and the S as an abbreviation. But we still have it twice. So we could just put one of them in there. Because the question said, well, the question wanted to find all the dates where there's a sales transaction. All right. So if we wanted to, we could put the word distinct in there. So, because we just wanted all the dates, right? So we could say distinct date. We could put distinct on both of them actually. So now we're going to cut down the query a little bit more. And expected near distinct, keyword distinct. Unexpected token. Well, actually you can only do it once, it looks like. All right, so if we do distinct on here, well, let's see what this one does actually. I'm kind of curious. So now we only have distinct out of one of them though, and we have the other one matching. I think really what I want to do, I'm going to put the distinct down here because I'm just showing you, you can use the keyword distinct if you'd like. I'm really not doing us very much different. So if we do that, we could just do this. We could just, where it's in one but not the other. Let's see. Select distinct, or actually no, you need it. Just take distinct out of there. All right. So select I.date and S.date. I think I was getting an error because of the opening and closing bracket. Select I.date and S.date. Or just I. Let's just select one of them. We just want the date as date. I'll put it in here as date. So select I.date as date from internet sales I and store S, where we don't want to get the ones that match, right? We just want the distinct dates. So where I internet sales dot date, or we could have just said I.8 doesn't equal S.date, because we don't want the duplicates in there, right? S.date. So now we have one where we're just going to put one of them down there, and we have a date for I, and we want the unique ones where I.date doesn't equal S.date. If we do that, then we're going to compare one table with the other one. And if we run it, then we get just one date. And do we have duplicates in it? We do have duplicates in there. I guess we could put the distinct back. Let's put the distinct back, actually. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Just show you there's different ways you can play around with this query. Let's go distinct. If I put the distinct back in, and you can see what we're looking at here is creating the logic. And it's all about, what do we really want to show in the query? Well, that's the logic that we want to stick inside of our SQL statement. Look at that. Now I have January 7th, January 10th, January 11th, and January 12th. But I think I have a fundamental flaw in here because I am, well, maybe not. Let's see. I'm testing one against the other. So I have the 7th, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. Well, that's from internet sales. But what do I have in here? I'm missing the 5th and the 8th. Because my query logic said, and I'm not getting all sales in, because I want it where the internet date doesn't equal the S.date, which means it's not in the internet. If it's in the internet and it doesn't match the S date. So I could just use an in here and take the whole set. So I could say, so this is giving me, because I'm making, like, if it's in one table but not in the other, where it's here but not in there, I'm getting the cross between the two tables is what I'm getting. So I'm missing two of the dates. I'm missing the 5th and I'm missing the 8th because I'm taking the cross, doing it this way. So that's where the in comes in kind of a better. So where the date is in, and then I can just select all of them. So I can say where the date, where I.date is in the set, select I.date. Well, actually it's this whole query, the first one we did. So select I.date, comma S.date from internet sales I, comma, store information S. So now I've got a subquery here where I'm selecting this date and this date. So I'm going to get a bunch of dates that are going to come out of here. From internet sales I, where the store, from internet sales I and store information S. Let me just make sure this works here, which it should. Operand should contain one column. Select, it's because now I have two columns instead of one column. Aha. That's what I was afraid of. So let's see. I need a whole list of dates. So I would actually have to do both, where I.date is in, let's do them one at a time because we want this one, and I.date is in, or I.date is in the other one. So select let's do it this way. Let's simplify this. Select the date from internet sales. So we have that one. So we're going to select a distinct date, I.date, from date. As date, from internet sales I, comma, store information S, from both of these two tables. Actually, we don't even need to do that anymore. We could just, let's just leave it alone. Where I.date is in select date from internet sales, or I.date is in and then we just do the same query here, but we use the other table. So now we have both represented. So we have the select date from the other one, which is going to be store information. So now we have one coming out of one column in each one of those subqueries. And we still have 7, 10, 11, and 12. Yikes. All right. So let's see. Let's go back here. It's because we're doing the I. So if we do the S, we do the opposite. Or we could run both. Select date from internet sales, or I.date is from here. Let's not do distinct. And here, let's do this one. S.date. So we select I.date and S.date from internet sales I and S. So we're going to get them all now. Where I.date is in this one, or the I.date is in that one. Well, this one's actually just going to give us both of them together. It's going to give us our duplicates. So we have both of them together now. We have the 7s and the 8s. We have all of them together now. So we got all the data back now. Now to get rid of those duplicates, we could put this distinct in there to get rid of the duplicates, or we could do a group by date. Yeah, let's do that. Group by I.date. We can group by anything that we wanted to on the, we can group by anything we want to on the select line. So if we group it by there, now we have the 07, 10, 5. Yeah, but we're having both together. So I'll leave you that one to play around with. We didn't really, I don't know, it didn't tell us we had to get rid of the duplicates, so we don't necessarily need to get rid of the duplicates. So I guess the best query of all of these would be the one without the group by. You could add another where. I guess we could put another where it's not, where it's distinct or something, I guess is what we could do. But we'll just leave it alone. The first query actually answered the question. And I just wanted to basically give you a little example or a demonstration example showing you there's so many different ways of creating these queries that there may not necessarily be a right or wrong answer to it. So finding all the dates where there is a sales transaction didn't tell us that we needed to get rid of the duplicates. We did find all the dates where there was a sales transaction by this query here. But as you can see, there's multiple ways of putting it together. We could get it so that we had the combination of both together in one. It would be a little bit more complicated to do so. So you could do it with distinct. You could do it with joining the two tables together. You could do it with two separate queries and crossing them. Maybe that would have been a better one. Cross the two queries to give us the both of them together. But in any case, it's optional. You don't have to do it. But if you wanted to challenge yourself, you could play around with that. So that is all you need. In fact, if you want to, for the last item here, you can just leave all the stuff in here, or you could pull it out. It doesn't really matter. You want to save this guy, and then you want to upload him into the mole system for assignment number 4. And I highly encourage you to play around with it and see what you can do with the queries. Make sure you can run these, and the more you practice with this, the more you'll be able to find interesting designs of interesting queries that you can put together. And remember that the PowerPoint is the one that was an optional reading. I gave you a video lecture as well that goes over this PowerPoint. We also went over this PowerPoint in class. But if you want a refresher, the video will help you with that. So I hope you've enjoyed doing assignment number 4, and I will see you next week for another lecture. So keep practicing and you will understand more. Okay, see you next time.